You know, the other day that somebody told me they went back to Boulder. We were at the store, and somebody goes, "We went back to Boulder." You're not going to believe it. They closed Penny Lane.
What was Penny Lane?
And you ever have those things like, I don't even know how to describe them. I think that they affect. It's one of those places in your life that when it closes, it actually does something to your heart. Something memorable to you. Candy store when you grew up at. The people owned it, the family, the 3 generations. You know, something. For you was a pizza place. You were telling me there was a pizza place in your neighborhood. That if one day your mom calls you and goes, "Guess what? Mr. Margiano's closing the pizza place." You're like, really? Like, that just took the wind out of my sails. That's why I would go when I go home and I see Bert. You know, like when you go to Tampa, like I go to Margiano's. I'm just making up a name, by the way.
Caesars in New York.
For you, yeah.
Yeah, down in South Tampa had the best. The first place that taught, in Florida, we didn't have pizza the way everyone else did, but it had New York style pizza with a crispy crust, and he'd throw it in the, you didn't see places like that, and he'd sprinkle Parmesan and oregano on for you on a slice of cheese. Every time you got the spinach and tomato and the cheese. That was it. Every time. Dude, Caesars in New York in South Tampa. And then I went down with I was with, I think, Leanne and the girls when the girls were young. We're driving around. I go, "Do you want to have the best piece of pizza you'll ever have in your life?" She's like, "Yeah." I drive up to it and it's gone. It's like a fucking Quickie Mart for pills now.
Well, this did something to my heart. Penny Lane was a coffee shop in Boulder. Have you ever been to Boulder?
Yeah, I love Boulder.
This is 90, 88, when it was very hippie-ish. So I get on stage in 91. I'm trying to be a comic. There's no comedy in Boulder. I was in the halfway house with this dude that was older. If I was 30, he must have been about 50. He was an old bank robber or some shit. I think he's not a bank robber. He was a safe cracker. We even talked about it a couple times. He told me how to crank different safes and shit. He was a very entertaining guy. Jewish guy from New York.
Yeah.
He must have been 50, but he had a fucking girlfriend that was 26 and just banging. And she was the manager at Penny Lane. Penny Lane was a coffee shop. One of the first coffee shops, way before Starbucks. And behind it was the Harvest Restaurant. And Penny Lane, they had poetry night. And I would go there, you know, because she would give me drinks for free. So I would go there, put $2 in the thing, and she would give me like hot cocoa or whatever. And they'd be up there like, so I ran and I ran. And I ran into a mush filled with roses and all this stuff. So one night I said to her, I go, "Listen, do you mind if I go up there?" And she's like, "I don't know. The guy that runs it thinks he's fucking Shakespeare." I mean, the guy really had the hat with the Pepe Le Pew thing and everything. And I go up there and just unleash a barrage of pussy and Godzilla jokes and Chinese people running. And they had to cut the show. They're like, stop. This is a poetry night. And I go, you know, what's the difference? Just let me do 3 minutes. You know, and he's like, well, you're insulting some of the people. I go, well, I'll clean it up a little bit. So he goes, no. He goes, listen, man.
Godzilla and pussy and Chinese people running away.
He goes, you seem like a nice guy. He goes, just do me a favor. Come to the midnight one. There's a midnight one on Fridays and Saturdays. They would stay open all night. This is when it was safe.
Yeah.
Dog, you know how many times I went there and there'd be 40 people listening to poetry at 2 a.m. And I would go up. I'm talking 1990. I started in 91.
Yeah.
So this has to be 91, 92. Because one day they told me not to come back no more. Like one night she wasn't there and they're like, listen, just don't come back no more. Just don't come back. You can't come back there. But I don't know how many sets I did in there and bombed.
Really?
Like just went in there to bomb. Like I was already predetermined. I'm just going to be a failure and I'm going to go in there and bomb. They told me the other day they're closing the place. I don't even know why I'm telling you guys. It just broke my heart. I took so many bombings in that place.
They did that with the Boston Comedy Club in New York. When they closed it, I went, fuck. I thought I'd always be able to come back there.
Now, isn't it reopened?
No. They recreated it for Pete Holmes' show. But they didn't reopen it. It's a wine bar, I think. No? I don't know. It's the same with Laugh Stop. Do you remember Laugh Stop in Houston? Man, when that place closed, I was like, Fuck.
The original one?
The one, yeah, the original one in Houston.
Gray.
Yeah.
Gray Street.
Yeah, it was on Gray Street.
Oh my God. 10 Planet Kush, it drains the lactic motherfucking acid. People won't cop to it. The health specialists say, no, that doesn't happen, Joey. Yes, it fucking does. I got friends in Harvard, bitch. I'm like Garth Brooks. I got friends in high places, motherfuckers.